Okay, I am going to do what God put the big guy on earth to do. I am going to review Anchorman 2. Anchorman 2, directed by Adam McKay, starring Will Ferrell, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, Dave Kokesser, Christina Applegate, and new actors Megan Good, Kristen Wiig, Greg Kinnear, and this movie was hilarious. Now, I have seen the first movie, and I did like the first movie. However, unlike a lot of fans of the first movie, I think I kind of like this one a little bit more. Some of the fans I noticed online, they said they liked the first movie more. I kind of like this one a little bit more. And I'll get into that as I talk a little bit about the plot, and I'll talk a little about the plot in the first one. Because in the first one, Christina Applegate joins up with Ron Burgundy's team, Will Ferrell's character, and she becomes the new head anchor and everything, and Will Ferrell loses the spotlight to her, and even though they start developing a relationship. With that one, something bad happens to the dog, and that really threw me off, and I didn't expect that to happen, and I was like, what? That happened to the dog? No! And when that happened, the jokes were like hit or miss to me. And it wasn't until the dog came back that the jokes started to be a little bit more funnier. And I mean, there were still some jokes that were pretty funny, but it was just kind of like, it was not as good as I hoped it would be. So with the first Anchorman, I would give that movie an 8 out of 10, because I do think it's funny, and I do see why a lot of people like it, but it wasn't entirely funny to me. I wasn't like one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen, or the funniest Will Ferrell movie I've ever seen. I think one of the funniest Will Ferrell movies I've ever seen was Casa de Mi Padre, and where he speaks Spanish, and that was hilarious to me. And pretty cool, the fact that he's an American actor speaking in Spanish for the whole movie. Now with this movie, this was really, really funny. I really like this movie. In this movie, he and his news team start up a 24-hour news network. And that is hilarious, because we're satirizing all the fact that we have 24-hour news networks now, like CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. Just satirizing those networks is just hilarious as hell. And Will Ferrell as Ron Burgundy, he is so good as this character. I really loved him in this role. Steve Carell as Brick, he is hilarious. He gets more screen time in this movie, and he gets a love interest. Kristen Wiig is his love interest. Chan is the name of her character, and she is great in this movie. I really like their chemistry. That was awesome. And Will Ferrell gets a secondary love interest in this movie, because for a small time he breaks up with his wife from the first film, Christina Applegate, and ends up going out with his boss that he gets at the 24-hour news network, played by Megan Good, Linda Jackson, and the jokes around that get very hilarious too. You got James Marsden in the movie as the antagonist Anchorman, and that gets to be pretty funny. Greg Kinnear is in this as a secondary love interest for Christina Applegate, Walter, and he's pretty funny in this film. Also, Will Ferrell and Christina Applegate, they have a kid in this movie, and the kid was pretty funny, but not entirely, because to me he was kind of bland with his acting. I kind of wish there was some more emotion with him. When the climax comes, there's this cameo fight scene, And the cameos are just great. I don't want to spoil any of these cameos because it was really good. And heck, the guy who plays Will Ferrell's mentor, the actor they picked for that role, I don't want to spoil either. That was just funny also, just seeing him in the movie. So I'll give this movie an 8.5. I really did like this movie. The chemistry with everybody was great. Really a good movie. I definitely wanted to buy this movie on Blu-ray. It's not the funniest movie of the year, and The World's End is still the funniest movie of the year to me, but this movie is definitely one of the funniest movies for this year. Definitely one of the movies, one of the comedies I want to buy on Blu-ray. This, Bad Grandpa, and as well as The World's End. And before I end this video, I want to talk about the ice cream that Ben Jerry's has been using to promote Anchorman 2. It's a butterscotch ice cream. It's Scotch. It's actually very good. Kind of tastes like butter crunch ice cream, and I really like butter crunch ice cream. So the unfortunate thing is you can only find this at Honey Farms. And then I tried finding this at the regular supermarkets, and you really can't find it there. You can only find this at Honey Farms. So if you want to pick that up, just go to your local Honey Farms and buy it there. And that's all I gotta say about Anchorman 2.